Well, good morning and welcome to Wednesday Wellness or Wellness Wednesday, whichever you prefer. You are with Vibetalkfacingthelion podcast and healing center. As you know, our Wednesday Wellness is all about your being well, getting well, and staying well. And with that being said, how are all of you? We want to say thank you to the many countries and states and local communities that are with us, who stay with us, who are counting on us, don't give up on us. We have 900 videos. Have you all had the chance to check it out on YouTube and our sponsored stations such as Spotify, iHeartRadio? Have you looked over our Instagram pages? We have them for you. There is plenty enough to go along. Speaking of wellness, when we are welling ourselves and talking about wellness, I had a surgical procedure that actually went really well. I'm not feeling any pain. But during the process, blood pressure went sky high, and I really had to take it easy. So I'm in my home studio, and I am coming to you live. How is everyone? Today we're going to check into our emotions. Have you noticed that as we check into our emotions each day, we're learning about them. And today we're going to do what is called connecting the dots to our emotions. And we don't mean to make you feel as if you have to feel pain, you have to feel anger, you have to feel anxiety. But we want to be in touch with our emotions. So here's what I'd like you to do. And it's kind of a way that we're doing connect the dots. I'd like you to draw a pattern, whether it's circles, squares. I need you to draw that. And then after you draw the circles or squares, I want them to be 6. Because I want you to think about the 6 feelings that you have been noticing that you are feeling. Everybody should be different. And I'll tell you what, if you send it to me or if you inbox it to me, we'll have something special for you. But I want you to, again, draw shapes. We talked about shapes. And in case you haven't noticed, have you guys listened to the Shape of Your Life podcast out now on your favorite podcast? So as you're drawing your shapes, 6 of them, I want them to be big enough to put your emotions in. Each of the 6 should have individual emotions, 6 different emotions. And you can draw them how you want. You can make it craft, you can make it flowers, whatever you want to do. And then what I'd like you to do in the middle of your paper is to draw a heart. Here's what I like about the workshop, is that the workshop individually creates for all of us a chance to look into our own emotions. I've had a lot of anxiety lately. So that would be the first one for me. And as I put it, I would make flowers because I like flowers as my shapes. And I'm going to draw a line to that heart that is in the middle of the paper. Anxiety. And on my line of anxiety, if you want to be just a little bit more direct with your emotions and you're ready to clear your system of what you have been holding on to, you can explain your anxiety. My anxiety is, one was the procedure I just had. The other one is I'm leaving and I'm going on a plane for the first time. Having a lot of anxiety about that. You see how that's connected? And so my first shape of flower would be anxiety and why I have it. Now, for those of you who are coming in today, or those of you who, for the first time, have heard of Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, I just want you to focus on the feelings, the emotions, whatever it is. I want you to be able to write something in the 6 circles or shapes that you have done. Let's simplify it for you. Those are more advanced and you're ready to talk about your emotions. By the way, our Vibe Talk Facing the Lion number, it's open. It's 1-888-721-9260. I want to thank you for joining us. You make our podcast all that it can be, plus that much more. We thank you from all over. If you ever just want to say hi, hello, you've seen our videos, what they mean to you, you can always get online, go to our Facebook, our Instagram, send us a message. We'll even take your negative messages. We've been running 6 years plus, or I should say 6 years. 6 years. And I'm so excited that we are keeping in step with our emotions and the experience. How many of you find that it helps to talk about it? Talk about your emotions. A lot of people may feel nobody listens anyway. Why should they? It's okay. You're not sure how you feel. This, that, and the other. But I'd like to talk to you. Yes, you. For a moment. Yeah, you. And you. And you. Dealing with our emotions takes a toll on our mind, body, strength, and soul. Spirit, too. I once heard someone say to me, my spirit is sick. My spirit is sick. I had never heard that expressed the way that I did. But here's what I appreciated about what was said. I started to analyze what did they mean by that. And I thought to myself, the life force that is within them is sickened. Which is the opposite of well. Just not quite there yet. And I thought to myself, that is a beautiful way to be able to express to someone the depth of your feeling of unwellness. My spirit is sick. Your life within you has become unwell. And that's why Wednesday we have Wednesday workshop. You're able to come in, whether it be on camera, whether it be in shop, and work out what exactly is your spirit. I have been pretty fortunate enough to understand what they meant. Because right after they said that their spirit is sick, they began to explain to me what was happening to them. And as I intentionally listened, I realized how that could be so. I thought, this person is more connected than I ever realized. Because what do you say? Some people say what? They're feeling some type of way. That's a new lingo now. However, those of you who are coming in here, I don't want you to use this lingo because it makes you powerless. When you say, I'm feeling some sort of way, because you're saying that as if you have no choice in the matter. When in your hands, in your brain, is the capability to get connected to find out what you're feeling and why you're feeling that and how did it start. Maybe not in that order, because everything looks messy. But as you connect the dots with things to understand your emotion, that makes you that much more intelligent. And it is called emotional intelligence, becoming aware, being able to identify, being able to say what the feeling is. Have you ever thought, I'm sick, followed by, and tired? But now we can go in depth with learning the strategies of Vibetalkfacingthelion podcast, and I can tell you my experience and what has helped me is to identify what it is that I am sick and tired of. How many of us are tired? Is there anyone among us that feels tired? Just tired. And I'm not talking about just a tired from a long day's, hard day's work, but that in addition to feeling everything within you, your spirit that you are is tired. And then you follow it by, I'm sick and tired. And then it becomes so overwhelming that it's like a bunch of paint that's mixing together and you can't decipher the colors because you've mixed it all together instead of having a little there and a little there and finding out what has made you sick and tired. What are you sick of? How long have you been sick of? You know, sometimes even in relationships, we become sick and tired of not just the relationship, but the things that go on in the relationship. And I learn how to identify when we really can't pinpoint it. Have you ever been in your lifetime where you just could not pinpoint what it was that you were sick of, and so you said to the relationship, I'm sick of everything? I found myself saying that. I'm sick of everything. How many of you have been sick of everything? You're sick of the way the dog barks, the cat meows, the mailman puts the mail in the mail, the rain and the way it's raining, finances, the way the living room looks, the way the children are acting, and thus and so forth. Today is going to be that day where we're going to learn the technique of connecting the dots of our emotion. It's the feelings that live within us through experience of something. Remember, I told you my first one was anxiety. I remember the feeling, and I was able to say what is making me feel anxiety. No medicine can help you understand why you feel the way you do. And I'm not saying for those who are on medication for depression or whatever it is you're on, I'm not telling you to not take it or to take it. I'm simply making a statement. No medicine is going to help you understand why you feel the way you do. There's no medicine that does that. But you, you over there, and you there, and you back there. I'm talking to you. You have the power to be able to understand your emotions. Why? Because you are going through it. You are experiencing it. No one has said, I'm going through it. You want to try it? For no one has ever said that. But with life experience such as amusement park rides, we have t-shirts that say, I survived that ride. That humongous ride. And then you know what they're talking about because you do what? You say, hey, I experienced it. And you say, wow, it wasn't that bad. And another person says, I experienced it and it was terrible. And I experienced it and I enjoyed the thrill. For no one has said they've enjoyed these emotions that make life hard to get up. Difficult to press on. Making us feel miserable, uncomfortable, like we just can't do it another day. Right now, you have spent some minutes with me, and I want you to be able to understand your emotion. What is your top emotion? And then I want you to take a second shape, whatever it may be, and I want you to put your second emotion that you have recently been feeling, or even in the past, if you're still trying to deal with that. My second emotion has been sadness. Sadness over relationships. That have meant so much, and yet the other people view it as nothing, meaningless. And you put every effort into those relationships. And it just seems to have evaporated into thin air. Sadness. Why can't I name that and draw the line to the heart? Because people don't communicate. And when they are faced with their lions, they don't truthfully and honestly communicate. I find that sad. That when something comes up, they want the quick way out. And some of you have been in relationships 5, 10, 20, some even longer, and you continue to exist this way. For me, that's sad. Whether it is your children, your BFF, quote unquote, your significant others. And you live with this on a daily basis, each day, in and out. The same old. Same thing, different day. You put up with it. And then you will be the expert to someone else's relationship, giving them the problem solved, the answers, this, that. And you say, I'm so glad they were comfortable enough to come to me with this advice. But yet you over there, yes, I'm talking to you. You've decided for the life of you that you can't figure out in your relationship why you are sad. But within yourself, why are you sad? What makes you sad? When I talk to you about sadness, are you aware of the sadness? Because I am not a doctor and I am a certified life coach counselor, I ask that you identify what is making you sad. Of course, there are many of us who are sad. You say that you're sad. I say, how are you feeling? You say you're sad. And you start to tell me why you're sad. And then I, as a human reciprocator, I'm understanding the relationship of sadness. You say my cat died today. I'm able to understand your sadness because I have felt sadness before. There's not one of us around this globe that has not understood the feeling of sadness. And if there are 5 of us listening, we all have a different reason for sadness. Have you identified any sadness? Sadness that you may have already put in one of your shapes. Sadness. The experience of sadness. So I go around the room. One is sad because the cat has died. The other is sad because their father is in the hospital or their child is behaving inappropriately or they didn't get what they needed to be on time at work. There are different reasons. But today, I'm asking you, do you know why you're sad? And if you say to me, I've been sad for a long time, and I say, have you talked about it? And you say, well, no, I haven't yet talked about it. And I say, well, why? You say, because I'm always sad. I've been sad all my life. Do you accept that? Do you embrace that? Or do you want to make the sad the opposite of what it is? And what is it? Do you want to fulfill your life with happiness or joy? But the sadness, what is that? Have you taken a pill, any type of medicine that has discovered what your sadness is? Again, we'd like to date in this podcast. We don't tell you not to take medication because some of us need it because of our depression, whatever it is that you may be going through that a medical doctor deemed that it would help you. But we are talking about identifying, being able to talk about why that's there. Because it really becomes something when you walk around your own body and you're not connected. You're not being able to identify what makes that feeling. And I say to you, I want you not to be sad anymore. It really should not be my choice. That should be your choice. Finding the root cause of it. And that's what our workshops are about. We have a lot of creativity. Today would be one of those. Your third shape. And I'm going to demonstrate this so that you will know what it is. I have on the back of the map, anger. Has something made you really angry? Or have you met someone that you say, God, that person is really angry? What do they got to be angry about? Or you even think less of them because you say they've got nothing to be angry about. Feelings are real. Come a little closer. I said feelings are real. Because you know what we do? Sometimes we will say about feelings, even our own, it's not that bad. But I'm real angry about it. Or we'll say, get over it. With expressed emotions and our connecting the dots, we get to understand ourselves just a little bit better. Don't you want to understand yourself just a little bit better? You're not perfect. But to walk inside of your body and not be familiar with the housing inside of your body is a powerless thing. I said powerless. The powerful thing is to become aware, to know. If I said to you, why are you angry? Whatever your third feeling is, it should be why you are feeling that way. Once you have accepted this is a feeling of anger, Why does it make me angry? And I want to give you a scenario. Yeah, we're going to go into relationships because our lives are filled with relationships. We're all in some kind of relationship. Business relationships, sibling relationships, parent relationship, colleague relationships. I mean, there's the word. So I want you to think about this in relations to anger. We're going to pick out something. And this is just a scenario, people. Maybe if you have any anger or have dealt with anger, you were angry with a situation that didn't involve anybody. Maybe it was just the way the yard looked. Not necessarily nobody cleans it up. You're just not happy that your yard doesn't look like the neighbor. Scenario. But let's talk about anger. There's leading causes of anger, and we don't have enough time in the day to be able to tell you all the anger. But I kind of want you to work today on getting the feeling of what anger looks like. Picture it in your mind. You ever look over when you're driving and you see people and you say, wow, that person looks angry. And maybe they're not angry at all. Maybe they just got this look of scowl on their face. That it looks like they're angry and they're going to come out at you. Because there are a lot of angry people, right? Road rage. You say anything to anybody, you might get your life taken. Anger. Angry. But now, sometimes we can live with people among us that have made us angry. It made us so angry that we can't stand the sight of them. The sight of them makes us so angry that we just want to lash out like we're an uncontrollable cat. Scratching their eyes out or scratching them out. How many of you have been that angry? And it's okay to admit that you've been that angry, and I'll tell you why. Because once you admit that you have been that angry, your being able to understand it helps you to understand you need to change something about that, and soon. Because I'm never going to tell you that your anger is not okay. I used to really believe that it wasn't right for me to be angry at my loved ones, people that I loved, and I had a right to be angry because of the situation at hand. But now there's a very dangerous anger that if you don't do something about it, and the connection, the dot to dot, the line between, it's going to explode, and it's going to become out of control. We know the anger about that. Angry. I want to give you a scenario. Let's say there's a couple, and the couple, they were a loving couple. They loved each other, couldn't stand to be around or away from each other. They had butterflies, and it's all yummy, yummy. Relationship is great, and they have a child, and that child is between the two of them. They are now parents. And something happens in the relationship where they began to dislike each other. to a very overheated degree. We don't have to speculate what the problem could be because we'd be here all day, but you will get what I'm meaning when I say this. And you become very angry with that one that you once loved. The one that everything was yummy with until things start to happen. And now that child, you're fighting over the child. You're fighting so much over the child. What happens with that child? Well, we've read it in our papers. We've seen it in our local headlines. Spouses become so angry with one another that they become a danger to themselves, a danger to you, and a danger to the child that you have created. That's anger. Anger. Have you been so angry? So angry that you have harmed yourself or wanted to harm someone else? I say to you as a certified life coach and counselor, please be aware, because you just did not become like that overnight. Or even if you have dealt with anger that way, it just didn't appear. And that's why it's so important to connect the dots to find the cause. You cannot cure it, you cannot well it until you are aware that you have it, or there is a possibility that you just might explode. And I'm going to tell you something through experience. You know that thing where you say, I feel like I just want to explode? We are playing connecting the dots. Did you forget about the heart that is in the middle of the paper? Because now all of that is connected to the heart. The heart is the one that makes you say and do things that you wouldn't normally do. And that's why we have things like court TV, crime TV, this, that, and all of the court TV. Crimes of passion. Because, see, something got us angry. Something motivated our heart. Something caused and affected our heart. Do you see why it's so important? Because our heart is so closely involved. Are we welling? Our home environment, our literal bodies, taking control. Because I remember there was a time where I would get so angry that if it was anger, I would see black. Literally. As if I had blacked out. Nothing wrong with the color black. When we use it in anger, we know that it resembles dark. But it can be any color. And by the way, if you're using color today, you're understanding that color impacts us as well. You know, red is always associated with bold. Black is always something that means something. Blue, green, So use a little color today. Anger we were talking about. We're going to be right back. I want to take a break. You are with Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We'll be right back. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion is yours 5 days a week. Check us out on the latest platforms that you are listening to. Join in all of our actions. We are feeling all emotions. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We're back. And thank you for joining us as we talk about connecting the dots. Now we're going to be talking about joys. Weather's warmer. May is a time for graduations, weddings, proposals. And last day of school for kids and teachers. And by the way, if you have any graduating students, because I am a retired educator, I would love for you to send in a shout out. We'll make something special so that you guys get to see our class of 2026. And for all those who are graduating in May, June, we're going to have months of graduations. I don't care if you're 4 to 100. We want to celebrate you. Joys. Is there any joy out there? New babies. By the way, our line is open. 1-888-721-9260. You're here with me at Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We think about joy. Oh, I can think of the joy. Having my first child, having my second child, then my grandchild. What joy. Being in love for the first time. We not only talk about the downsides of emotions, we talk about being able to feel them as they are, real and raw. Have you talked about your joys lately? Joys. I'm feeling joyful because while I have been under recovery and resting comfortably at home, I have felt so much joy. Joy. Why am I dealing with that feeling? Because you really don't think about it until something happens, such as a procedure. How many people are rooting for you? How many people do care? I've had more love shown, and I appreciate that, because if someone is sick or needing something, I want to be there. And my friends have been beautifully representing the God that I serve. as well as the love that I feel. I've gotten phone calls, food, rides. It can't get any better than that. And you know what I appreciate about it too? That I haven't stopped them because someone told me, I don't want my blessings to be blocked because I stopped someone from helping. There's not been a day that I have been in recovery that someone has not called or texted or came by to say, how are you doing? And I want you to know how much I appreciate it. Have you experienced joy? And I like to ask this in a way of past and present. We do know that every day is not a joyful day, but we are thankful for various reasons that we get to even have a day. But your joy, is it there? Have you connected the dots to think about the things that you could be joyful for? Because things happen in life and they affect us either way. But what is your joy? Could it be more profound? Are you joyful to yourself? Because that's the one that I have the hardest time with, being joyful to myself, because I want to run and I want to go and I want to do this and do that. And right now I know I just need to recover. Just a medical procedure. I've been telling you guys about my back, my hip. Well, it's all taken care of. Just got to recover. But I need to have more joy toward myself. Sometimes we are givers of joy, but we're not receivers of joy. And when it comes to myself, I must admit that I'm working on the connection to be joyful when it comes to giving to myself. I've been trying to get out of the bed to get things done. And I'm not being joyful when it comes to speaking kindly to myself to rest. And today is one of those days. But I know how important the podcast is to me. I know how important it is to you. And so, even if I could just lay down and do it, that's what I would do. But I'm forcing myself in my chores. I'm forcing myself to get up, get a shower. And sometimes just the last couple of days, although I've been getting better, it just says, rest, rest me. How many of you have had your body language say, rest me? Are you connecting the dots? Maybe you've been tired for a long time, and so you ignore the signs. And your body starts to give out. You're not 100%. But you're trying to make others believe that you are 100% when you know, as you stand in front of that mirror, the soul of your mirror that says to your living spirit that lives within you, I'm not okay. I need to rest. I need to take it easy. I'm okay if I'm not 100%. Do you embrace that as you connect the dots? And when I say that I'm not reciprocating joy to myself, the same joy that's given out to me, I'm saying to myself that I'm forcing myself when I know that I'm not well to do things that people in recovery don't just get up and do. Expectation. Sometimes we can expect too much of ourselves as we expect too much of others. Are we doing that? Losing joy. Well, there is, ladies and gentlemen, so much to be joyful for. Happy. The best thing that I loved about teaching little kids was every morning to see their happy, shining faces. I could have done more of checking in. What do I mean by checking in? Same as we do on Wednesday Wellness. Wednesday Wellness is all about our being able to check into ourselves, check into our wellness, do a checklist. And for you teachers that are out there who are doing this, in fact, on Instagram, I noticed that there are 2 teachers in particular that just tickle me because they're doing it. And those little kids, that's going to carry them through life. That's going to carry them their whole life because they're going to remember that you checked in with them. They get to say what they're happy about, what they're sad about, what their joys are about, why they're angry. And at that point in time, they don't even realize it. And that's why I ask you today, yes, you, yeah, you back there too. I'm asking you today to evaluate, check into your wellness. How do you connect the dots to your emotions? Do you feel connected? Because it starts there. And that's why I'm so glad that you teachers, you parents are doing it. Checking in. Not just taking it for granted that everything is okay. But those little minds and hearts, it's so cute that these teachers take turns and they're videotaping the reaction. And that's okay. I love it. Keep doing that. What's the purpose of this Wednesday Wellness Workshop? I asked you in the beginning to draw shapes and then draw a line, and then that line in the middle of the paper is going to reach to your heart, because you see, your heart is your active part of you. It impacts you by the behavioral that you send to it. You're angry about something, it's going to affect you. You're happy about something, it's going to affect that heart. You cannot tolerate saying, I feel disconnected. It is important that you get connected. Because you are you that nobody else is. I have experience with emotions. I have my own emotions, but I am not you. You are you. And as we talked, even an hour doesn't seem to be enough talking. By the way, I do one-on-ones. I do have a healing center that's all about emotions. It's individually customized for every person, man, woman, child, family, groups. We are here for you. Our direct connect is 1-888-721-9260. We want you to experience how do you connect the dots to your emotions. What have you gone through that you've had those moments of, I get it. Now it makes sense. Now it's connecting. There was a time in my life where my heart and my head were saying two different things. Imagine that and the impact that it had on my heart. And how long I carried that. But to be able to finally connect why I'm feeling this way. And that's what I learned about the little kids. And I wanted to say this because it makes so much sense. We really don't know what those little kids who come into the class are dealing with. But here's what they do know. That every morning, regardless of what's going on, in or outside of home, around home, no matter if they have a great life, no matter if it's less than great, those children remember that their feelings were important. Many of you are still not sure because you've had no one to take the time. You start to tell them and they say, or do, I'm busy. Sit down, do your work. Can we talk later? And I love this for little kids when I see that they're doing their check-ins each morning. Because sometimes we need to see things the way a child has saw it. They're happy about the least little things. They're happiest when their parents are spending time with them. Says one little boy, he was excited because he was going to get to play some sort of sports with his dad. Those are the little things that we could take for granted, but for that little boy, that could be the lifetime achievement for the day. Because maybe his dad is busy working. But we need to think about this. The next time a child is in our life or in our presence, our past, as we are adult children, we need to think about the feelings that we felt. Fear was the last one that I want to talk about today. There are others, but I wanted 6 specific. Fear. I always call it the 4-letter word, the real 4-letter word. Fear. If I would ask each and every one of you, what are you afraid of? What would be your answer? And then if I ask you and I followed up with that, what you told me, how long have you been living with that fear? Each and every one of you are going to give me different answers. But I want to talk to you a minute for your answers, because your answers are your answers. Remember, you are the you that you are. Just remember that. And it starts with you. Today I want to ask you, Why are you living with fear for even as long as you have? Fear of something, someone, something, someone, someplace. Because if you were in a child's body, imagine the stress that would put on you. Fear. And I want you to think about the fear that you had. Maybe you had a childhood fear. There is a new advertisement that we put out. If you're on social media, if you want to see it, please go to YouTube and see it. It talks about trauma being healing, and it has a breakthrough of a mirror and a caterpillar that leaves a beautiful butterfly. Either way you look at it, the butterfly leaving the caterpillar, it's up to the imagination. But here's what I want to tell you about fear. Fear in a little body and not being able to understand that fear that lives inside of that little tiny body creates trauma. I don't care how you look at it. And children oftentimes not understanding that fear, it grows. And it starts to latch on to the daily activities of things. Some of you are walking around with these fears not knowing that you've had them ever since you were a child. Fear of rejection, fear of someone dying, fear of losing a pet, abandonment, rejection. It comes through different losses, triggering, and that's what Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast does. So when and if you're ready, I'm always available to take appointments. I'm certified to do so. Spent many hours accepting the challenge of facing the lion, and this is very serious. Because you, yes you, and you over there, and here, and right there, you're all smart, beautiful people. Very artistic, creative. You have the brain power to work, live. I ask that you take back your power and being able to know what your emotions are. And it's not going to just start today. And if you need to hear this podcast over and over again, it will be recorded for you. Share it with others. You can call into our lines at any time, during, before, after. Anytime you see it, I want you to be able to comment on it. I want to thank you and ask you the question still to get well, stay well, and be well. Thank you for joining Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And I'd like to thank my co-host Trish for well-intended contributions. Thank you so much for being here with us. We want to thank every country, every city, every town. Thank you so much. And join us next time for Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Thank you guys, and please take a moment and connect the dots to your emotions. Have a good day, everybody. I wish you wellness.